space. The thoughts, views, and comments expressed by the hosts, guests, and callers on Beyond the Headlines are not necessarily those of management, ownership, or production unit of the Verizon Media Group. Beyond the Headlines is a production of ILTV Studios and cannot be reproduced or represented in part or entirety without express written permission of the Verizon Media Group. Beyond the Headlines is the intellectual property of the Verizon Media Group. Copyright 2021.
Coming up tonight, PMH in the harsh glare of the spotlight. A family is accusing the state-run hospital of negligence. We hear their heart-wrenching story coming up. Southern Shore is in the middle of a come-to-Jesus meeting at PLP headquarters right now. The meeting is reportedly to decide which of two hopefuls will be the candidate in the upcoming general election. Also tonight, what's behind a viral WhatsApp message seemingly from residents of Mycal, not mincing words on who they want to receive the PLP nomination. And later, opposition leader Michael Pintard zeroes in on the Grand Bahama economy. Many of you voiced off on the state of the Grand Bahama economy. We reveal the results of our daily poll. It's all straight ahead for you this evening. This is Beyond the Headlines. Good evening. I'm Shanique Miller. It's great to have you along this evening. Well, a meeting is underway at the PLP headquarters at this hour. The Southern Shores Branch Association is said to be meeting there. The selection committee is expected to pick a candidate as early as this week. Devontae Hanna is live at PLP headquarters with the latest on what's happening on Farrington Road. Devontae, good evening to you, and thank you so much for joining us on Beyond the Headlines. What's happening this evening?
Shanique, after nearly 2 hours, the Branch Association, the Southern Shores Branch Association of the Progressive Liberal Party, is still locked on the inside in a meeting. Now with the chairman of the party, Fred Mitchell, they're now discussing and voicing their concerns as it relates to which candidate could possibly be the standard bearer for the PLP in this upcoming general election. Now we know tonight, and we want to make that clear, tonight is not going to be decision night, but rather just a night to hear how do people feel, what do they think has been going right, what has been going wrong, what makes each of these gentlemen that we understand are the front runners, that's broadcaster Clint Watson and of course Deputy Chairman of the PLP, Obi Roberts, what makes them the front runners, what makes them the possible candidate, and what's good as it relates to their work and how will they represent the PLP and the constituency moving forward. That is what is being discussed on the inside. And we can tell you there are near dozens of people that are here, all from that constituency. Some of them, they have on Obi Roberts shirts. There are others who have on shirts that represent Clint Watson. We are unable to give you a fair determination of how many compared to the other. I can tell you, though, that Roberts supporters came out very early this afternoon, and the Watson supporters came out flocking at the end. Now, here's what's funny about all of this. This seat is still being represented by Leroy Major, and he's one of the only gentlemen that is not here. Now, we know that he has not said over the past few weeks that he will not be seeking renomination. We've been seeing the situation that's been going on in Eleuthero with Sylvanus Petty, and we don't know if that could be the case here. But again, Leroy Major is not here. In fact, since I've been here, that's been around since 6 o'clock. I've not seen him. But of course, we look at this race right now, what could potentially shape up to be the race for Southern Shores, where we have Watson, who is very familiar with the party in terms of governance, but we see Roberts, who is very familiar with the party in terms of just being a member of the party and being a long-standing legacy member of this party. His father, Bradley Roberts, was a long-time chairman of the party, and Roberts is now rising up the ranks as the deputy chairman who was elected just a few years ago in that convention held at Bahama. But of course, we are seeing right now where the residents are going back and forth over who they want to be here. We've spoken to one of them who supported Watson. He says, Watson is the man for the job. And of course, he also made some allegations that, there could be some corruption at play, but he did not want to go too much in detail. Roberts' party strongly opposed that. But of course, again, as I mentioned earlier, this is just a night of discussion just to figure out who do they want. The Prime Minister was expected to be here. He's not here. Again, the party chairman is here. But for right now, we're going to sit on the outside and wait and get as much information as possible to you. So from outside the PLP's headquarters, that is, I'm going to send it back to you in studio. Shanique.
Devontae, thank you so much. That's Devontae Hanna. I tell you, so many of these races are turning up to be must watch. I hope you all popcorn then popped, because it starts from here. I'll tell you that of Devontae Hanna live at PLP headquarters this evening. We will talk about that. Don't you go anywhere. Pull up a chair. We're just getting started. A little bit later in the show, my Hot Topics panel will join me, and they will be voicing off on all of this that's happening and taking shape tonight. Meanwhile, though, the country's main healthcare facility in the crosshairs as another family demands justice and decries negligence. It has become an all too familiar plight for scores of Bahamian families who desperately search for closure after leaving their loved one at the hospital that they say turned out to be hell. Well, we're going to get into the story of this latest incident. Joining me now is Vernita Adderley. Vernita is, I think, the mother of a 36-year-old woman who sometime in November just lost her life, that the family feels in a way that really showed lack of care and attention at the healthcare providers there at Princess Margaret Hospital. Good evening to you, Ms. Adderley. Thank you very much for being here. Our thoughts and prayers are with you. Thank you for sharing your story this evening.
Pleasant good evening, Shanique, and good evening to the entire Bahamas.
Yes.
I have here with me, Shanique, my granddaughter, and also my other daughter, and also my husband. We are here. They probably all would chime in with whatever questions you have.
Yes, have them stand behind you because the frame is a little slim, so we can see them, and they can certainly speak as they would like to. Ms. Adderley, please share your story with us. We saw the headlines today. So many people are talking about it. It really is something that gripped the attentions and pulled at the heartstrings of so many people. What happened in November? Okay, it appears as though she is frozen. Guys, have the story lined up just in case, but we are hoping to speak with Vernita Adderley. She is the mother of a 36-year-old woman who lost her life at Princess Margaret Hospital while she was admitted. I think in the month of November. The family has since been speaking out everywhere in the media, in the print media as well, just talking about their experience and what they feel was negligence on the part of healthcare providers there at the Princess Margaret Hospital in the public unit. Are you there, Ms. Adderley? Is any other family member there? Justin, if you can play Jose's story, then we'll just get an idea of what's happening.
We walk in there around 6:19, 6:20, pull the curtain back, and she was sitting up in the corner of her bed with the oxygen mask to the right side of her face, mouth open, eyes open.
Shamaya says that day, November 14th, scarred her for life. Her grandmother, Vernita Adderley, says it's a crushing blow that they're not going to brush aside.
We're not here trying to get rich of our daughter. We're here seeking justice because of the total neglect and disregard of her being in the hospital for 14 days.
Kalanisha was admitted to hospital on October 27th after she grappled with stomach pains. But that would mark the beginning of a journey plagued with pain, a life-altering diagnosis, and alleged lapses in healthcare.
When I went and I touched her face, she was completely cold. When I said she was cold, that's how long they haven't checked on my daughter. My daughter completely deteriorated daily in the front of her family. When I say completely deteriorated, there was no help, for her life. She was just 36 years old. She was a vibrant young woman.
Her father, Clay Adderley, didn't hold back, as he says he narrowly lost his wife to a healthcare system he hoped would save her, only to eventually lose his baby girl nearly 2 decades later.
In 2008, she went in there just to get a simple surgery.
Tubalization.
And they botched it. And she was nearly died, was in PMH ICU for a month, over nearly a month. You hear what I'm saying? So y'all can understand the madness what I'm going through. This like deja vu to me all over again. And it wastes this time because like my daughter is in the grave.
Now, Eyewitness News understands that the victim reportedly coded moments before that family visit. Sources allege that the 36-year-old was terminally ill with stage 4 cancer. Relatives say she was diagnosed with acute lymphoblastic leukemia.
This is news to
Well,
us.
even if they're saying that, whatever she had, she had. But the treatment, the way you deal with people's family, and they run around a bunch of foolishness. You know, and then the back and forth, and you need this and you need that. You need to go get this expensive pill, and then he's sending us this way and sending us that way as a loved one while your loved one is sick. You're putting more stress on the family to go find things what only them know where to find.
Now, Health Minister Dr. Michael Darville didn't shy away from the allegations levied against PMH.
We are going to do everything in our power to get to the facts associated with this case. And whatever we find that is incriminating to the Princess Margaret Hospital or even to the caregivers, we will have to address it.
I tell you, it's quite an unfortunate story to hear. Only the medical professionals know exactly what the state was, but the family feels as though it could have been handled differently. Ms. Adderley is now back. Ms. Adderley, we just saw a story from Jose Etienne really telling of what took place and what happened. So let's just pick it up from right now this evening. What is the state of her 17-year-old child? I think you're muted. Are you there? I think you are muted. Let me know very quickly if we can get her. If not, Ms. Adderley, again, our thoughts and prayers are with your family. Let's just try one more time, Justin or Eric. Let's see if we can get her back in. Good evening, Ms. Adderley. Are you there? Let me bring in right quickly, and maybe we can still work her in another, just for a few minutes. But join me right now, my Hot Topics panelists. We'll have another one joining after the break. But Peggy Candace and Gabrielle McKinsey-Aeneas, good evening to both of you.
Good evening. Thank you for having me. Happy New Year, Bahamas. Good
evening, Shanique. Good evening, Bahamas. A very happy New Year to you all. It's good to be here.
Ladies, your thoughts about this? It's just. I tell you, it's heart-wrenching. It really is. It's so draining because the public healthcare system is something that we all depend on, and people have different experiences with the public healthcare system, and there are many hard-working professionals there. We know that, but to hear this family's story is their reality. Yes. Your thoughts?
Good evening, Shanique. Good evening, Bahamas. Once again, the standard of service in this country got to be excellence. When the standard is not excellence, we have issues like this occurring. This is not the first time we have heard nationally of such incidents where young women died after crying out publicly. And we've heard that publicly, and I've heard private stories. What I'm glad tonight is that the Minister of Health and Wellness, Dr. Darville, has come forward. He's not hiding, he's not dodging, and he intends to hold everyone or anyone accountable. And it got to be accountability on behalf of the staff, because you're hired to do a job, and I'm not just whitewashing every staff member. Shanique, like you said, they are good health care professionals at PMH. But then there are those that don't take the standard of excellence to the degree where you follow up. How is it that a young lady can sit and die when you're there? And I read the story, and it's very concerning. And it's not one that we can say, oh, that ain't no truth, because we sometimes experience the nonchalant ourselves or with our family members. And it's about time that Bahamians take responsibility for their lack of care, for their neglect in your profession, whether it be customer service, whether it be answering the phone, and whether it be a professional, a medical professional. A young lady died alone while people sit and talk according to the story.
According to the story.
It's
and
totally unacceptable.
It is troubling, man, because,
Totally.
you know, when you go to other places, for example, and I know it's no comparison because the budgets are so different, and it's also what do you call it, I guess a study hospital as well. And I'm talking about, I think it's Jackson, another state-run hospital, but extremely well done. The care is really top tier. It's comparable to any private institution. This is what we seek after.
Yes.
This is what Bahamian families deserve. Whether or not your pocket, whether or not you have 7 figures on a bank account, or whether you have nothing. The point is, you've signed up for this job, and then you've got to make the relevant necessary tools that would aid in providing health care available. All of these things are very important. I have said it, and I stand on it. There is a need for a new hospital, but the health care have to match. It has to match. I think we have Ms. Adderley back. Ms. Adderley, I can give you a minute just to say something very quickly. I apologize for maybe your internet is a little bit in and out, but are you there, ma'am? Gabrielle, jump in.
Firstly, I want to say condolences to the family. Watching the story, I really had to hold back the tears in my eyes. And I really want to say to the healthcare professionals that compassion costs you nothing. Honestly, going back and forth with my mom's health, even recently this year, and dealing with the hospital, there are so many stories that align. It cannot be that so many people are decrying and saying the same thing. There was a point where I had to tell a few of the nurses, do you know that you swore to do no harm? Do you know that when you took an oath to care for these people, when you walk into this place, no matter what it is you're going through, you have people's lives in your hands? Because even some of the things that I witnessed, I had to report it to higher authorities. You have to go to work every day, no matter what it is you are being paid, and do your job to the best of your ability. Compassion costs you nothing. It is time that these people are held to an account. We have so many people going and studying nursing. I asked my niece the other day, she recently graduated, is at UB now. I said, do you care about people? When she said she wanted to study nursing. Or I said, do you care about a salary? Because I said, there aren't many dollar signs behind there. And there are people every day that are going to be depending on you, counting on you to hold their hand through whatever it is they're going through. If you are not here because you love it, then you need to leave it.
Do not venture in, because I'll tell you, not all of us can sign up to be healthcare professional healthcare providers, because that's not what we can, it take a certain person to do that. But don't do it just for a job.
Yes.
There are people who are desperate, and people are vulnerable. You have a vulnerable society that depend heavily on the public healthcare system. Let's try get her in. I see you, Ms. Adderley. Ms. Adderley, jump in very quickly. Just tell us about your granddaughter and about the state of the family right now, a few months after.
Well, good night. Sorry about the bad connection a few moments ago. Yes, Shanique, it was really horrifying on November 14th. First of all, this here, we here as a family, we're not here trying to find monies to bring our daughter back, because that can't happen. This is about the principal and the neglect, the total neglect for the 12 days she was on surgical med east. On October 30th, when she walked into PMH, her and I took her to A&E, and she was having some severe stomach pain. And she was admitted, stayed 2 days down in A&E, and she went up on the 1st of November, she went on to Surgical Med East. And that's when everything went down.
Let's talk about we put Miss Adderley in the time that you were having internet issues, we actually played the story, so we put everything out there. And again, we want to say this matter is under investigation and no determination or an outcome has been presented to the public as yet. And so certainly, of course, there are no conclusions being drawn here this evening. It's just one family saying that they feel there's been a level of neglect at play, but it's certainly, of course, you saw the Minister of Health and Jose's story and a team of people sitting there saying that the matter is under investigation. Ms. Adderley, Ms. Adderley, I so apologize. I am absolutely out of time for this segment. We were 25 minutes in, and we have to go to a break right now because your internet kept acting up. So, but we got your story out there, Ms. Adderley. We got your story out there. Again, our thoughts and prayers are with the family, and as you move forward in your course of action, we certainly, of course, are sending thoughts and prayers to the family, and we will watch this and see what the outcome of the investigation is. Thank you once again, Ms. Adderley, and your family. Beyond the Headlines is backward after this.
Welcome to Paradise Premium Foods, where exceptional taste meets everyday convenience. Right in the heart of Hurricane Hole Plaza, whether you're planning a beachside brunch, an intimate dinner, or simply restocking your favorites, we offer only the finest selection of local and imported goods, handpicked for quality, freshness, and flavor. At Paradise Premium Foods, shopping is effortless, service is personal, and every visit feels like a treat. From gourmet meals to go to organic essentials and indulgent treats, this is your neighborhood market elevated. Live well, eat better. Discover Paradise Premium Foods, now open at Hurricane Hole Plaza, Paradise Island. Paradise Premium Foods, taste the difference.
The race to 2026 is heating up, and the nation's voice is louder than ever. Here on Beyond the Headlines, we're checking the mood, the momentum, and the message of the people. I'm Shanique Miller. Each week, we're taking the temperature of the electorate to see what's really driving the nation. Who's connecting? Who's cooling off? What issues are heating up ahead of 2026? This is Temperature Check 2026, where journalism meets the nation's heartbeat.
Beyond the Headlines is now introducing powerful TV advertising opportunities made just for you. Choose our television ad package, 20 30-second ads for $2,000 or 20 60-second ads for $2,500 plus VAT. Prefer flexibility? Go a la carte. Just $150 for a 30-second ad or $200 for a 60-second ad. Step into the spotlight with our interview package. One 15-minute interview for $500 or 4 for $15 per month. Or bring Beyond the Headlines directly to you with our live on location package, only $2,600 plus VAT. For more information, contact our sales agent at 242-466-6173.
Welcome back to Beyond the Headlines. It's good to have you all tuned in this evening. I think that I know the team was trying to see if Miss Adderley's internet would perhaps be a little better now, but I think that they've made a decision to let's move on because her internet was having some issues. Joining us now, by the way, welcome back, ladies. It's good to have you both here. Joining us now is Howard Johnson, the Hot Topics panelist, to complete the panelists. Or the panel rather. Howard, good evening to you. Welcome to Beyond the Headlines. It's good to have you here. I know that you've been paying attention and watching the top of the show. We will get into Southern Shores in a moment, but if perhaps for just a brief moment, very, very briefly, you want to maybe respond to that PMH story. And very, very briefly, again, the matter is under investigation. You heard the Minister of Health say that, so we can't form our own conclusions, only to say that the family feels that there has been a level of negligence when it comes to the care of their loved one.
Good evening, Shanique, and Happy New Year. Good evening to the Bahamas and Happy New Year, and to my colleagues as well. This is a very unfortunate situation. And like Gabby said, this gripped me in my stomach to hear this and to read about it earlier today. It's just very sad and tragic. Unfortunately, this is not the first time we've heard something like this coming out of PMH, where family members have said things like this that could have been preventable, that demonstrate to them negligence, overwhelming negligence. It's just so sad and tragic, and I just hope that the family can find some kind of resolve through the justice system and through their faith, and can move on and pick up the pieces.
Yes, thank you very much, Howard. By the way, welcome to the show. So listen, pull the TP up, please, y'all. Pull the teleprompter up. Let's go. Let's keep it moving. Opposition leader Michael Pintard says Grand Bahama's recovery is being stalled by unmet government promises, delayed infrastructure projects, and declining public services. Pintard argues that setbacks at the Rand Memorial Hospital, the airport, and the Grand Lucaya are hurting residents and investor confidence, while the F&M says it has a plan to turn things around. Well, today, Eyewitness News turned to you on social media, posing the question, do you believe Grand Bahama's economic recovery is moving in the right direction? Well, here's how you all voted. 35% of you voted yes, progress is being made. 8% voted some progress, but too slow. 57% voted no, things are getting worse. Well, panelists, I want you all to come in right there. Grand Bahama is not an easy fix. If it were, I think from the days of maybe Hubert Ingram, it would have been on the path that would have been so much better now. And considering, of course, Dorian and I think another storm before then, and then the pandemic, and Grand Bahama's just had its issues. But your thoughts on one, the opposition leaders, what he had to say about Grand Bahama's economy, and the fact that an F&M administration led by him would make things different.
Good evening once again, Shanique. I found that conversation or comments made by the leader of the opposition interesting. I put out a question, and it's like, I wonder what list of progress that were made under the previous administration, and of course people came and say, well, there was Doreen and there was pandemic, and it's like nothing was done because of those two very important occurrence during the last administration term. But this was not the first time that the Free National had majority seats in Grand Bahama. It is easy to point at what you're gonna do, and we saw that in Michael Pintard's contribution today. What is not being done? What is not being done? And then he say he will be happy to, or look forward to, continuing telling us what his plan is. It seems that articulating a comprehensive plan brings on a challenge for the leader of the opposition. But I reached out because I don't know much about Grand Bahama, so I wanted to speak with people who have eye there of Grand Bahama, and the report is not as devastating as Michael Pintard's account. I spoke with somebody who was in the tourist sector, and he said to me, if one person cried and said life was not better, especially last month, he gave me a figure that average taxi drivers were making last month.
Oh,
yes.
well, that's
And
good news to hear.
he
Listen, I am always rooting for Grand Bahama. So you're saying that they had quite a good season last
year? A good season. He said hair braiders, those at the different tour guides. He said everybody seems to have done well in December. And one of the things I asked him, so how can this be transferred into other months? And that it not just be occasional. And Grand Bahama has its challenges. But it's still the spirit of excellence. People have to create opportunities, to embrace opportunities. And while the government struggle in some areas, there are areas that is very progressive. When we look at the completion of different projects that was left incompleted by the previous administration. We saw the government facility. I heard of police station being completed, a junior high school being completed. Initially, 2021, a cleaning program was created as a stimulus package for Grand Bahamians, where many persons were hired clean up Grand Bahama. And so efforts were being made. I know people would like to pay attention only to the negative, and that is, aka the Grand Lucaya sale. But we have to be fair in our reportings and gracious. The word is gracious if things are being done to give relief to Grand Bahamians. Let's acknowledge that too. It cannot be that we only focus on things that are not going well, because you want to inherit this as leader of the country. Be careful.
Girl, Candace, I don't know who you talk to over Grand Bahama.
I talk
to. We go take a trip down.
They'll pay for the ticket
to Grand Bahama.
I'm on vacation. I'm on vacation. I'll meet you to the airport tomorrow.
I used to be a conqueror, the mighty conquerors. Fremont Private, okay, down there. My grandmother is from lives down there. Listen, Grand Bahama is so depressing. When I look and I know what it used to be, and I've seen now what it is. I can see why Grand Bahamians feel. This isn't about how we feel in Nassau, because a lot of projects have been Nassau-centric. The facts are the facts. So I could concur with the opposition leader in his statements. Grand Bahamians are not feeling it. Is the money, this is 2026 now, is the money in the bank for the Grand Lucaya? Let's stop dancing around that. We celebrated it right here on this show. We celebrated it. The hotel sale, it was a grand party. It was very, very nice. But is the money in the bank? The other day, persons were complaining that they weren't being paid from the hotel, Shanique. And panelists, they were not being paid. What is going on with the Grand Lucaya? Has the renovation started yet? That was supposed to be the stimulus, the boost to the Grand Bahamian economy. You wanted us to celebrate with you. We did that. We clapped our hands, we danced, we cheered, and now it's 2026. We're ready. Grand Bahamians.
Listen, be ready for the new hotel. We
ready for it.
Now, Gabrielle, with that said, though, and how was before, but listen. Rupert Hayward promised me. Listen, I'll tell you. Rupert Hayward promised me he would have me back, and not me. I mean me as in beyond the headlines. Here's why. New entities are about to come on stream this month. He told me this in October. Now, Gabrielle, I want to say this with everything you've said. This ain't the first time this Grand Lucaya has been attempted and everything around it. Can Michael Pintard deliver on Grand Lucaya?
We don't know. He hasn't been there yet.
He ain't gonna be there either.
Listen what I'm saying. Listen what I'm saying. I ain't saying he can be there. I ain't saying he can.
No, but he there. He there.
I am not.
But he ain't gonna be there as prime minister. He's been there as minister for MP.
Dorian, he had the pandemic,
yes, and
that is
Michael
why he couldn't do what he needed to do.
Ladies, put your fingers on your lips.
Don't act like Michael is new to this. He ain't brand new.
But Minna said what the issue was for Bahama.
He is not
Dr. Minna said we had a pandemic, we had a hurricane, we cannot. What did you expect him to do?
Michael Pintard is not accountability for Grand Bahama.
Gabrielle, on TV, we only could talk at one at a time, right? As I'm saying, though, Grand Bahama, you hear you're going back? You're going back for minutes. You got to bring Ingram in this too. This and Christie. The run to fix Grand Bahama is decades old. Michael Pintard, does he have the secret recipe and the right recipe to get it fixed, to get the hotel sold? Remember when Davis was first elected and they went to Dubai and he met with investors to try and attract them to Grand Bahama, and he was told point blank, Grand Bahama has nothing appealing for us. Now, Grand Bahama, perhaps, you're right, Gabrielle, the hotel was supposed to be the jump start. Perhaps, though, it's going to take something else to be the jump start. And I dare say that Rupert Haywood, and I can call his name big and bold all over TV because he spoke with me for roughly about an hour when I was in Grand Bahama in the month of October. He said to me what's about to come on stream this month. So I feel as though outside of Carnival Celebration Key, outside of another few of those things, I think that what he is talking about, including the shipyard and the harbor, that other major investment that's happening, maybe those things will be the thing to get Grand Bahama's economy up to a level where it's going, that it can begin mushrooming out over the entire island. Howard, your thoughts?
Yes. So, Shanique, this is another classic example of where we need to elevate to a higher vibration in the Bahamas. It is also another example of where we need to stop playing politics with the gotcha and the whodunit. You see, because what has been happening with this project under this current administration, the previous administration, is Grand Bahamians are the victims. I don't care and I don't want to hear anything about who did this and who didn't do this. The real issue here is that Grand Bahama and Grand Bahamians are suffering. And when we execute our politics in the Commonwealth of the Bahamas based on the red meat, instead of trying to produce solution-based outcomes, Bahamians lose. And that's what's happening here. Let me explain to you what I mean. We have the current administration, the PLP, is in power, right? They were the opposition for 5 years during the Minnis administration.
4 years.
They should have had an executable plan ready to go on day one. But for 5 years, the PLP administration lambasted the F&M government looking exclusively for red meat to attack on so that they could become the government of the Bahamas. And rightly so. That's what you do. You do your politics. Now, here's the problem. We are now we are in the 5th year of this term ending, and we do not have anything in the way of an executed strategy to get Grand Bahama's economy back online. Now, to hear the leader of the opposition say they have the plan, well, listen, with the candidates that we have for the Free National Movement that's going to form the government, if the Bahamian people so deem them worthy, they say that they now have the plan. Well, Mr. Pintard, you and about 75% of your current team were in the Minnis administration. So you shouldn't already have a plan. You guys should have been executing that plan during your administration. So now you're saying that you have a plan. If you become the government in the next 6 to 7, 8 months when the election is called, are you going to go through an entire term as well with no milestones accomplished, with nothing executed? We have to diminish and reduce the politics in the Commonwealth of the Bahamas, and we have to start relying more on executable strategies that are going to benefit the Bahamian people. Solutions-based outcomes. Shut up with the politics.
Well, speaking of solutions-based, I'll tell you this. We'll hear from the president of the Port Lucaya Marketplace. Right after this, he has something a little different to say. Beyond the Headlines is back right after this.
Michael, keep the secret.
Fly fishing for me is kind of a way of life. My father was one of the pioneers that started the fly fishing industry.
I grew up around the industry, but it was mostly spin fishing until the invention of the fly that changed the whole fly fishing industry as we know it today.
Well, fly fishing, in my opinion, is an art form that subscribes to artificially inducing a fish to take a lure.
It's fishing, but it's more like hunting than anything else.
So it is hunting, one aspect of it is, and the second of it is creating a lure that you are imitating that is of the environment.
You're actually stimulating the bite by them visually seeing the actual lure that you're sending to them.
Crazy Charlie is the fly that revolutionized, as we know, the saltwater fly fishing industry. It was invented by my father. He recalls seeing the bonefish chasing a little bait fish called a minnow. He took a couple chicken feathers and some bead eyes of a military tag, and that was the beginning of the advancement of saltwater fly fishing industry on the flats as we know it today. The importance of that fly allow you to be able to fish for bonefish in various depths of water.
Captain Rupert Lead, my dad, who's also a pioneer in the industry, his fly was called the gotcha fly, and it emulates two things: the minnows, which is a small bait fish, and also a shrimp pattern. See, there's so many legends that I'm now standing on. Percy Darville, Ivan Nemo, who would have passed, Raymond Mackey, you've got Sidney Nemore, Carl Moxie. These guys were filled with knowledge. They were self-imposed scientists. They saw these fish act in a certain way, and they know how to target them on specific tides. I feel extremely proud to carry the baton on, knowing that I can actually teach other youngsters how to carry the mantra, and they themselves can pass it on to other generations.
So you want a space. But not just any space. You need something with a little more potential. So how about 1,000 square feet of room to play with? Superb audio and video production capability, digital LED wall, full lighting grid, and about 124 seats to accommodate a full studio audience with so many other features. Make us your home for your next concert, conference, and so much more. Honestly, the possibilities are endless. Here at ILTV Studios, we'd love to bring your next event to life. So what do you say? Do you want our space?
Beyond the Headlines is now introducing powerful TV advertising opportunities made just for you. Choose our television ad package, 20 30-second ads for $2,000 or 20 60-second ads for $2,500 plus VAT. Prefer flexibility? Go a la carte. Just $150 for a 30-second ad or $200 for a 60-second ad. Step into the spotlight with our interview package. One 15-minute interview for $500 or 4 for $15 per month. Or bring Beyond the Headlines directly to you with our live on location package, only $2,600 plus VAT. For more information, contact our sales agent at 242-466-6173.
This segment is brought to you by EV Motors Fleet Sales Division. For 2026 commercial vehicles, call 821-2403 today.
On the headlines, well, we just talked about Grand Bahama, but you all get this. The president of the Port Lucaya and Market Association, Navar Smith, says he and his members are optimistic about the future of the market. Remember, Beyond the Headlines went there and spent some time in the month of October. And however, though, Navar says the stakeholders need more investment to support growth. Smith, whose association has been around for less than 6 months, says he has seen several businesses close their doors while others are struggling to turn a profit.
In the case of this, you got to be hopeful and optimistic. Somehow, some way, all we could do is take our political leaders, the government, at its word, and they seem to be confident that things are going to happen early this year. So we are cautiously optimistic. You know, in Grand Bahama, we've been let down a lot of times, and things move so much slower for us here, for various reasons. And so where most of us are just in a wait and see mode. But this is why, as an association, we took the position, well, until these things happen, we need to figure out how to bring relief. The task we're doing as an association, we've had meetings with our members where we're in constant communication, and they've asked us to throw another blow again at trying to provide relief incentives and concessions so that we can clog the hole. Like there's been really an exodus of businesses just like closing, and you hate to see that. So people are asking, in the meantime, until these developments get off the ground, we need to figure out how to hold on to our businesses, get a little bit more breathing room so that we can stick around long enough to benefit.
Progress on the Grand Lucayan Resort. Smith stressed the importance of that resort for the growth of the market. Of course, you remember in October, I keep referring to that because, yeah, this show was there. We saw them, we spoke with them, and we witnessed as well just the trickling in of tourists and shoppers and whatnot. So we here cheering for Grand Bahama, man. We could debate all we want, but the bottom line is we just want to see so much happen and Grand Bahama revive, however it is. Now, listen, let's go. At the top of the show, you all saw that I started with what's happening right now at PLP headquarters, right? Southern Shores is meeting at PLP headquarters at this hour. It has to do with who the party will elect to represent that constituency. I want you all to how did this matter in Southern Shores become the runaway train of this election season? Or maybe one of them.
That's correct. One of them, there's too many outstanding constituents where there are multiple aspirants for the position. I can name Michael, I can name Nordy Lucha. I think over the holiday we heard some conclusion on that matter. And Southern Shores in particular. I think the matter when you have, and it was the same experience with the Free National Movement, when you have different camps going after the same seat, and some supporters are more aggressive and more zealous when it comes to their candidate. What is the one of the bad things about when they begin tugging at each other? And so these matters, Progressive Liberal Party needs to be resolved as soon as possible. 2026 is here. It is time for unity. It is time for the machinery to be united, as I saw in the by-election Golden Isles. And so the sooner this matter, Michael in particular, because I saw information about Michael today, and people are expressing their concern. Yeah. Of course, I've been a witness to the different management teams for this one and that one, and they go so viciously after each other, and then they want to say, okay, now we get back together, but you do so much damage. And not only you do damage to your candidate, you provide an ammunition for the opposing parties. People, please get that straight. And so the sooner this is resolved, the sooner we can get on the ground, we can rev those engines, and we can do some campaigning for the Progressive Liberal Party being re-elected a second term, and break that curse, that one-term curse that we've been dealing with from 2020.
This is an interesting race for the Progressive Liberal Party aspiring candidates in Southern Shores, being that one of them, in the deputy chairman of O.B. Roberts, has been aspiring before. He actually wanted to have the seat that the now Member of Parliament, Pierre Glover, holds on to in Golden Gates. So he's been wanting to run for quite some time.
But what is the issue? Is he not an attractive candidate?
Somebody would have to tell me that's internal, would have to tell me what is it now that would prevent him from getting the nomination over newcomer Clint Watson. So it would be interesting to see who the Progressive Liberal Party gives this nomination to, in that the Free National Movement has already named their candidate in the person of Dennerly Penn. And she has been on the ground working. I know that's Peggy's number one girl. She's been on the ground working.
You sure you want to be trusty with that?
What would it be if I don't show a little shade in the new year?
Because that conversation is coming about me and my past.
So she's been on the ground working adamantly. So they already know who the opponent would be. So it would be interesting to see who they think has the best chances to go up against Miss Dennerly Penn and be successful in the PLP.
Howard?
Yeah, Shanique, it is so interesting for me personally, as someone who has been in frontline politics, to see how, from my perspective, the PLP has somewhat evolved, because during my time and even now, this kind of stuff where we've seen a la Naughty Lutra and Michael and Southern Shores. These things were normally associated with the Free National Movement and having the dirty laundry, etc., aired out, so to speak, right? And now we're seeing some of it coming to head in the PLP. And all I can say is, Bradley Roberts, God rest his soul, is definitely in the ground and no longer around. But for the PLP, since we're talking about them and what's going on, I understand that the chairman of the Progressive Liberal Party is at this branch meeting. And then I heard in an earlier report earlier today that the Prime Minister was going to be there. So it's heating up. I don't know if the Prime Minister is there, but
I don't think he actually ended up there.
That the chairman is there. So when you see this level of party official going to this branch meeting and all of this discourse is going on, something is happening. But for the PLP, if they want to win this general election and go in as a unified force, they have to plug this stuff up, because we've seen this from the Free National Movement for a long time, and now we're seeing it from the PLP.
And it's been something that took a lot of the wind out of the Free National Movement sail, if you remember.
Yes.
And I think they're still trying to recover from it, because they just played sloppy with it, and then the PLP is like, what's up? I mean, y'all 2026, y'all now playing sloppy? You think it's just politics?
It's not new to politics. They do it on both sides.
just landed himself
in any event, listen to me, y'all. Peggy, you mentioned about Michael. Get this. This is the note Peggy was referring to. I saw this as well on WhatsApp. Michael, the seat that will determine the PLP retaining the government. Oh, they said Michael is right up there. We are now learning that the leadership of the PLP party has made up their minds about Mr. Depuch Karen. If you see they bypass a ray of hope the people so need for a Portersky confender, we in Michael will sit on the sidelines and watch the cut skin the PLP will get. You all better listen good. Karen, or we ain't voting.
Is this coming from a Michael resident?
Quickly, your thoughts. Yes. I saw it. I saw it on WhatsApp.
And I know I spoke with one in particular, and he told me that he need for this decision to be made because the majority of people won Robert, and so they are waiting anxiously. And this was last year conversation, early December, and so they are waiting anxiously. I'm going to say good evening to Mr. Henry Roll. I know he's watching, and they are waiting anxiously for this matter to be resolved, and hopefully in the majority of people's favor. And so, like I said previously, these matters need to be resolved as soon as possible so they can be healing, so they can be unity, because you playing it Too close. This is the F&M way. This ain't the PLP way.
It's always been the PLP way.
This is not
Calm
the
down.
PLP way.
What I will
we
say
always
is...
used to talk from the F&M. PLP is always
What I will
discreet.
say is that the PLP is going to decide the candidates that best suit them and their agenda moving forward. The leadership will determine, because there are a lot of big personalities, and sometimes when you get too many big personalities in the room, you may not be able to function the way and go in the direction you want to go in. So they're going to decide for them moving forward, going into the next election, who they think are the personalities and the people that are needed to get them that second term elected. And if they are successful, to be able to govern the way they want, avoiding any possible issues.
Well, I want to say this one thing. Sorry, Howard. Michael, in particular, a string of islands, don't need no breakback candidate. I just got to say that straight up. You need people who are going to be able to facilitate programs and get the job done, and who have some on your side. That's just my little 5 cents.
Shanique, I've said on this program several times, and I don't hide it. My favorite MP in this current parliament is Adrian White, and my favorite political candidate going into the 2026 general election is one Mr. Robert Caron. I'm not hiding that. Here's the thing though, Shanique. You know, sometimes the party chooses, sometimes they let the association choose, and there are lots of dynamics and lots of other strange forces sometimes and agendas that come into play when selecting a candidate. Now, for the PLP, they find themselves at that crossroads right now with Mr. Caron. But I'll say one thing, and very simple and very clear. Best candidate. No matter what you inject in there as the factors for selecting the candidate in MyCal, this in the lead up to this general election. The best candidate, no matter how you look at it, in my opinion, is one Mr. Robert Caron, because he brings the combination of all of the necessary ingredients that you need to facilitate what this 5-island constituency needs. That is a monumental task to deliver on, right? He brings everything that you need, and I believe that with those things and with his genuine care and concern for the people of MyCal, he also delivered this seat to the PLP at the polls.
I think he would. What I want to say quickly is there may be something we are not seeing. Oftentimes, we're only seeing the surface level. There may be something prohibiting the Progressive Liberal Party from making this decision right off of the bat. For example, like we saw them did in Fort Charlotte with Sebastian. There may be something that we are not privy to on a higher level as to why they have not yet ratified
why
Mr.
you bring
Caron
Sebastian that? Because Sebastian is ratified.
As the candidate.
The only people who have problem is the right.
You were listening to me.
I people who have a problem with Sebastian is there.
Gabby, I agree with you. And I learned all of those things.
I said they ratified him right out of the gate.
Pause for a moment, and y'all can finish this after the show. The two of y'all can finish this after the show. Howard, you could call them and join in, because y'all tonight y'all just have more words than
Happy New Year!
Welcome to Beyond the Headlines.
2026 is here.
Welcome to Beyond the Headlines. This is 2026, absolutely. Listen, I thank you all so much for tuning in this evening. Thank you so much to the Adderley family. Of course, our thoughts and prayers with them. Of course, Devontae, who joined us at the top of tonight's show, and then my Hot Topics panelists, Peggy Candace, Gabrielle McKinsey-Indias, and Howard Johnson. Thank you as well. And to all of you out there, thank you so much for tuning in. By the way, somebody from Grand Bahama said Grand Bahama leadership, it takes leadership and vision, and that comes truly from the Grand Bahama Port Authority. Thank you all for participating. I love that. We can do more, all of that this year. Listen, on behalf of the entire Beyond the Headlines team, I'm Shanique Miller. Make it a great evening, everyone.